And welcome to our community. Susie Thomas here with you this morning, joined by Janet Whitlatch. She is the Director of Community Relations at Canton Christian Home. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here today.
Well, we're delighted to have you. Canton Christian Home's undergone so many changes lately, but
boy, isn't that the truth?
Let's go back to the beginning. Can
Great.
you tell us a little bit about the history and when this all started, the vision someone had?
Well, this is a milestone year for us. This is our 40th anniversary. We opened our doors in November of 1976. We were started by independent Christian churches and Church of Christ churches. And we are a faith-based, not-for-profit retirement community. We offer independent living, assisted living, residential with services, and full nursing care. So everything that someone might need, we offer it.
And which also means you can go in at a certain stage and stay throughout as your maybe health declines or as your the aging process in itself, or just as life happens. You're able to attend to someone at each of those stages then.
Absolutely, Susie. We like to think of it as somebody can come to Canton Christian Home and know they'll be taken care of for the rest of their life. So when they come in, they can get all the services they need or be as independent as they need to be and want to be. We want to be there to support the independence of that person, and we want to fit what they need rather than them fitting what we offer.
Oh, what a good philosophy. Now, I think 40 years ago, I think everyone kind of assumes that Canton Christian Home and First Christian Church were interrelated in some way, but then the church moved and the home is still there. What is that relationship?
Well, they helped get us started. And when they did that, they brought in other churches as well. So they were our kind of gave birth to us, so to speak. But we are a completely separate entity. We are not-for-profit. We have a board of trustees that guides us. Executive director is Tom Strobel. And so, yes, First Christian Church they planted the seed, and they have been very supportive of us over the years. And we so appreciate all the support of all of our churches.
When you say someone knows they'll be taken care of for the rest of their life, that can be kind of a very bittersweet time thinking that a person is moving in, because they might be thinking, oh, I'm on third base heading home. This is the last lap. That might be, there might be a sadness that goes along with that as far as letting go and looking forward to what's next. But Canton Christian Home has a very different vibe, doesn't it? That is not a sad place to be at all. Describe that a little bit.
Well, we think that when somebody comes to us, and I hear it over and over, and I think it's one of the most rewarding parts of my job, is that I hear over and over again, I'm so glad I did this. I wish I would have done it sooner. And that's not to downplay the emotional and difficult decision it is to make to leave your home and make a move like that, knowing that sometimes people look at me and say, this is my last move. Yes, it is, but what a wonderful place to be able to come to and know that everything that you need will be taken care of. People develop new friendships. They're more active probably than they were in their own home, because oftentimes as someone ages in their own home, sometimes it gets to the point if they're not driving, they become more isolated, they don't have the social outlets, they don't have the opportunity to give back. We have a lot of volunteer programs that our residents can participate in. So it's really an enriched life that people experience when they come there. We're like a big family. It's very social and very friendly, and there's a sweet spirit there. And I believe that's relating to the faith-based aspect of Canton Christian Home.
No doubt. When you go there, they might be leaving a lonely existence.
That's so true.
And you can be by yourself when you want to be, but you can always be social and someone to talk with and someone interesting to visit with. Address that a little bit. You said the volunteer opportunities for people and shopping trips and things where they don't have to drive themselves. Pretty awesome, actually.
It is. The social aspect. Sometimes people can't get out to their churches. They can't be involved in the groups and social activities, whether it's mobility issues, driving, maybe there's some hearing issues or some vision issues. But they come to Canton Christian Home, and we have all kinds of wonderful things going on every day. Things like There's activities like exercise. We have shopping trips. We go to concerts. We go to the bank and Mark's and Giant Eagle. We go out for ice cream in the summer, at least 3 or 4 times
Too
a
often.
month. We go to Sippo Lake. We found Sippo Lake and Walborn Reservoir offer pontoon boat rides that are wheelchair and walker accessible. What a wonderful thing to be
Yes.
out on the lake on a beautiful day.
Yes.
If our residents want to go somewhere, we will make every effort to make those arrangements and go on a bus trip. We have a 26-passenger bus that we can go anywhere we want to. We go to Amish country, and we go out to lunch, and we go to Hartville Kitchen, and all the places that we all love to go. So that's one of the really nice things about having all these social outlets. And if you want to stay in your room and not participate in certain things, you pick and choose. You do
Yes.
what you want to do, and you be involved in what you want to be involved in. And if you want a quiet afternoon and curl up with a good book, you can do that too in your own apartment with your own belongings from home.
For family members, the idea of the fact that their loved one is so safe, I think, is very comforting as well. You're talking about these outings. People might be very concerned about Grandma and driving herself to Sippo Lake or to go out to lunch, for example, but they don't have to be concerned, because if she is being basically chauffeured in a fabulous multi-person van and it's wheelchair accessible and whatever they need, with plenty of people to help as
That's right.
well. It really alleviates a lot of the concerns of family members, doesn't it?
It does. I think that one resident said to me one time, "This is a gift that I'm giving my children." She goes, "I know it will be good for me." She goes, "But I know I need to do this before I need to do this." And I loved that phrase, "I need to do this before I need to do this." And my own mother is at Canton Christian Home, and as a daughter, I know that if I can't be there when she was in independent living, somebody was going to check on her. If she wasn't feeling well that day, somebody was going to check in. As any other family member, if you can't reach Mom on the phone, you call
Yes.
the office, and we're going to go right in and check and make sure that person's okay. If they're not feeling well, we're going to let the family know. We'll get them out to the hospital if need be, or maybe they just need to be checked on. Maybe they had a fall. We get them up off the floor, make sure they're okay, and go about their business. But if they need to be sent out, then we can do that. But for the families, it's a wonderful thing. I call it the underlayment of support that's there for a resident. If they need it, it's there. But they're living their own life, doing what they're interested in, but we can be there to help.
You know what's so amazing, too, is that you talk about all the outings, but there is so much to do right there under the roof. I can remember when my mom was a resident, she was able to go to Bible study, go to exercise class, go to a little gift shop, go out to lunch I'd always meet her on Thursdays, go to lunch. And she had never, and go to the beauty parlor, and she had never left the building. It's like a little city. She really had a full day doing all the things she would have done on a Thursday, but she didn't have to go anywhere. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. There's so much there for people to do every day. There's a multitude of activities going on, and people can get their hair done. They can go to the library. We have a media center now with computers. If somebody wants to learn how to use email or something like that, we have people that will come in and teach them one-on-one. We have painting classes they can participate in, exercise Monday through Friday. We have a room with exercise equipment if somebody wants to do it at their own pace on their own time schedule. We have church services every Sunday at 3 o'clock. We have Bible study. One of the great things about church services, our residents are our choir in our church services.
Yes.
They also help with the service, serve communion, things like that. So there's all these opportunities, again, for someone to be engaged. And as we say, enjoy the endless adventure of the Christian life.
Yes, yes. And it's at a time in life when it's wonderful to be able to celebrate together and find out from each other, what did you do back in the day? And then what are you doing, tomorrow? It's a great time, really, to celebrate together. You touched on some of the accommodations. Tell us specifically the accommodations that are available there.
Well, We did a renovation. We've been working on it, and it's almost done. It's been about a 3 to 4 year process, and anybody driving by on Cleveland Avenue will have noticed that we've put 2 new 4-story additions on the building, on the west side and the north side. We added 15 apartments. We doubled the size of our assisted living. We went from 31 to about 60 residents in assisted living. We have 75 beds for full nursing care. We're also a short-term rehab center, meaning after an illness or an injury that requires a hospital stay, maybe it's a broken hip or pneumonia or something like that, somebody can come back to Canton Christian Home, get their occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech and hearing therapy, and go back out to their own home after they've recuperated.
So there's a step-down part of it.
Yes, we have the rehab center, and we can do all the skilled therapies there.
Now, why the big expansion, Janet? Because my husband and I drove by and said, "Oh, they're getting ready for the baby boomers." Is it that there's a certain generation which shall remain unnamed that is getting ready to move in?
Yes.
It's all about the baby boomers.
That's right. Got to be ready for those baby boomers. There's a lot of us.
Yes, there are. So is that it? And the need is that great?
It is that great. We do have. In our apartment area, we have about 85 apartments. We do have a waiting list, probably about 3 to 4 months. We typically have a waiting list in our assisted living area. And nursing care we typically have a waiting list there. What we do have the short-term stays where people come in and out as well. But typically when somebody is interested in finding out more about Canton Christian Home, they call us, they come in for a tour, we look around at things, we take them all around the building, and maybe the family comes in first and then the prospective resident later, or all together, and they get an opportunity to look at what we have. But we do need to be ready for the coming generation, and we've done a lot to address that. We just put in this cafe, and it's great. It's open from 7 to 7, and we offer sandwiches and soups and ice cream sundaes and cappuccino and hot cocoa, and there's a sandwich special every day. You can get roasted chicken. It's a great place for intergenerational interaction. So grandpa and grandma, maybe who live there, and their son or daughter, and the grandchildren, it's all Wi-Fi accessible.
Wow.
So it's just a great place for families to get together, have a cup of coffee. We make our own cream sticks there, and they're out of this world. So it's a great time for people to come in and be together, and it has absolutely blossomed. It is the most wonderful little area in the building, and you just see people talking and laughing, and residents sitting and having a cup of coffee together, maybe playing cards, or maybe somebody's just watching HGTV there in the cafe and reading their newspaper and having a little bite to eat. So it's a wonderful new thing.
Are there questions you should ask yourself or that families should discuss to decide when is it time? Because can I be frank? I'm sitting here thinking, sign me up. Okay. When is it time to move into a retirement home?
I like to think of someone who's in their own home, and it's almost like a scale, the scales of justice. And when you're in your own home and you've got family there and you're able to take care of things and you're not having to hire a lot of things out, that's working. But sometimes it gets to a point where if your laundry's in the basement or you've got to go upstairs to use the bathroom or your bedroom, you're not able to manage the upkeep of the house. You're having to hire out for snow and lawn and leaf removal and the social limitations that are there. The person's becoming isolated. I think of it as a scale that's tipping, and you start to see those kinds of things, and it's time to start looking and exploring. You don't want to wait until the crisis occurs.
Yeah.
Crisis being an illness or an injury that would prevent you from going back home. Know what you want to do. Get out and take a look around. We're blessed in Stark County. We have lots of wonderful, great places for people to live, senior communities. So the choices are really terrific here. We're blessed. But it's important that somebody get out and see what's out there and then make a decision. It might be a waiting list situation and they need to get their application in and be on the waiting list. And then, we get them in when they're ready and, when an opening occurs. And if they want to say maybe next time, that's fine. We'll contact them again.
Mm-hmm. We're speaking with Janet Whitlatch. She's Director of Community Relations at the Canton Christian Home. I'm going to take a quick break here. We'll be back with more after these words. You're listening to Our Community.